Alright guys, welcome to Learnlyte. In this video, the topic for discussion will be dictionaries. So think of a dictionary like a box that we can put just about any value in. We can put it strings, integers, floats, whichever value we want. However, for each value we place inside the box, we have a corresponding key. And we use that key to fetch the value that the key is associated with. So basically, unlike lists and tuples that use an index to retrieve values, dictionaries uses keys to fetch values. So dictionaries are a key and value pair data structure. Alright, so with that being said, let's jump right into it and let's take a look at how we can basically create a dictionary in Python. So as remember, we know a dictionary is like a big box that we can put just about any value in, and for each value that goes inside the box there's a corresponding key, and we use that key to fetch the value that we want. So let's take a look at a dictionary that's going to basically map English numbers to Spanish numbers. So the English numbers are gonna be the key while the Spanish numbers are gonna be the value. So let's take a look at how we do that in Python. So to create my dictionary, I'm gonna say English underscore to underscore Spanish. And to create my dictionary, I use the curly brackets. As you can see, these curly brackets right here. And for the first item in the dictionary, I'm gonna have the key 1, and this key is gonna have the value uno maps onto it. So as you can see, we begin with the key first, followed by a colon, and then the value associated with that key. Alright, so for the next element, the key is going to be 2, followed by a colon, and the value associated with 2 is going to be dos, and then a comma again to separate the various elements or items in the dictionary. The next key is going to be 3, and the value associated with 3 is going to be tres. Alright, I go ahead and I hit enter, and then if I call it back again, I hit enter, you see I get a dictionary with all the different values and keys there. And I can even use the built-in type function, and I say English to Spanish, hit enter, you see I get a class of dict, which is short for dictionary. Alright, so that's how we create a dictionary in Python. Now remember what I said before, the key difference with a dictionary is that we retrieve the values by using the associated key. So let's say I want the value tres. If I want the value tres, then I have to fetch that value using the key associated with it, which is 3. So let's go English, and I want the value associated with 3, so I have to reference it using that key. So if I want the value tres, I have to use the key which is associated with that value, which is 3. If I go ahead and hit enter, I get tres. Let's say I want the value uno. If I want the value uno, I have to use the key associated with uno, which I know to be 1. So inside here I'm gonna put 1, and then if I hit enter, I get the value uno. Alright, so that's how we basically retrieve values in dictionaries. Alright, so moving on, what happens if we try to reference a key that is not in the dictionary? Well, as you can imagine, if you try to reference a key that's not in the dictionary, you're gonna get a error. So let's say, for example, we want 4. We know that 4 isn't currently in our dictionary, so if we try and reference it, we get a error, a key error. There's no 4 in the dictionary. So here's a neat little trick that I like to use. The in operator is a very good operator to test to see if a given key is in a dictionary or not. So let's say, for example, I want to test if the key value of 1 is in the dictionary. So I say 1 in, and I write the name of the dictionary, which is English to Spanish, and I hit enter, I get true, which means that the key value 1 is inside the dictionary. And similarly, if I write 4 in, and I write my dictionary, and I hit enter, I get false. So it tells me that key value, that key is not in the dictionary. So remember, the in operator only works for keys. So you use the in operator to test if a given key is in a dictionary or not. It does not work for values. Because similarly, if I were to say something like TWO, which is 2, and I say 2 in English to Spanish, and I hit enter, I get true, no, right, I want to say dos, yes, dos in English, I hit enter, and I get false. So you can see here, dos is indeed in the dictionary, but dos is a value, right? And we get false. So remember, when using the in operator in dictionaries, we use the in operator to test if a given key is in a dictionary, not if a given value is in a dictionary. All right? So that's a key difference. Well, that's something you should make note of. All right? Okay. So as mentioned before, we know that the in operator is used to basically test if a given key is in a dictionary. But what happens if we want to know if a given value is in a dictionary? Well, here's a neat little trick that you can use to basically test if a given value is in a dictionary. So we want to test if the value dos is in the dictionary. So we know that if we try it with the in operator, it's going to get false. So to test if a given value is in a dictionary, we can do something like this. I'm going to create a variable called values, and inside this values I'm going to have called a dictionary, and then I'm going to call this function called values. This is a neat little function that all dictionaries in Python has. It basically grabs all the values in the dictionary and puts them into a nice little list for us. So if I go ahead and hit enter, and now I print values, you can see that what I get is a list value with all the different values in it. Or should I say I get a list containing all the values within that dictionary. And I can simply say now dos, right, in values, and I get true. And if I say, for example, tres in values, I'll get true as well. And if I say something like cinco in values, I'm gonna get false. And there we go. So that's a neat little trick that you can use to basically test if a given value is in a dictionary by using the dot values function right here on the dictionary. And what I did was store it in the variable called values right here, and then use the in operator to basically test if these values are in the dictionary or not. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is basically how we can iterate through a dictionary. We're going to iterate through a dictionary using 3 different ways. We're going to iterate over the keys, we're going to iterate over the dictionary values, and we're going to iterate over the dictionary key value pair. Alright, so let's take a look at that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create my function, and we're going to start iterate over the various items in the dictionary. We're going to begin by first iterating over the dictionary keys. Alright, so let's begin by writing a function. I'm going to call this function dictionary. So def dictionary, which takes, in this case I won't have it take any arguments. I'm going to create the dictionary inside the function. So I'm going to say state capitals going to be equal, and remember we use the curly brackets to create the dictionary. And inside this one I'm going to have the first element being Arizona. I think the capital of Arizona is, I believe it's Phoenix. Now the second one is Georgia. All right. And then the capital that's associated with Georgia would be Atlanta. And then for my next item, I'm gonna have the state Minnesota. I think it's 2N, Minnesota. And I think the capital associated with that is St. Paul. Alright. And now we created our dictionary. And now we're gonna basically iterate over the keys in the dictionary. So to iterate over the keys in the dictionary, we use our for loop, pretty much as always. So we say for state in state capitals, right? And for each of the keys, what we're simply going to do is just print the keys, or print the state in this case, because we know that the state is the key. Alright, so we know that the state in this case is going to be the key. So we go ahead and we hit save, and we're going to run. So if we call the function dictionary, alright, there we should get all the various keys in the dictionary. Hit enter and we get Arizona, Georgia, Minnesota. Alright, and that's basically how we iterate over the keys in a dictionary. So in this next example, I'm going to write another function called dictionary. I'm going to call this dictionary 2. And in this example, we're going to iterate over the values. So I'm just going to use the same dictionary. Just going to copy and paste this right here. And alright, so now we're going to iterate over the different values. So using a for loop, I'm going to say for, I know that the values in this case are going to be the state capitals. So I'm going to say for state capitals underscore capitals, for state capitals in, and in this case I want all the values in the dictionary, so I'm going to say state capitals, and to get all the values in the dictionary, use the dot values function like this. And then similarly, all I'm going to do is just print the values, or in this case the state capitals. Alright, go ahead and hit save. If I run this one, I'm going to call it dictionary 2. If I go ahead and run the function, I get all the state capitals. So I get Phoenix, Atlanta, and St. Paul. And the last thing is that we're going to iterate through the dictionary key value pair. Alright, so to iterate through the key value pair, I'm going to use a function again. So I'm going to call this function dictionary tree. Okay, and I'm going to use the same dictionary from before to just copy and paste this dictionary down here. And then I'm going to say for state, comma, capital, alright, for state, comma, capital, and then I'm going to say in, and I'm going to say state capitals, and to get a key value pair, I'm just going to use this built-in function called items, right? And then for each key value pair, I'm just going to print, for example, the state followed by just the colon right here, space, and then the capital right here. Gonna end that right there, save, and let's run and see if this function actually works. Should work. So dictionary tree, And go ahead and we call the function, and we get Arizona, Phoenix, Georgia, Atlanta, Minnesota, St. Paul. So as you can see in this third example, we're iterating over the key value pair. Alright, so I just showed you how to iterate over a dictionary keys, how to iterate over a dictionary values, and how to iterate over a dictionary key value pair. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about are some useful methods that we can use in the dictionary. So we just looked at two methods already. We looked at the dot values and the dot items. So dot values is basically a way for us to basically get all the dictionary values within a list. So if we have a dictionary and we want all the values in a list, we can use the dot values, which is right here, this function. This basically grabs all the values within the list and put it, all the values within a dictionary and put it inside of a list. Alright, another useful function is the dot items. The dot items function is a function that basically we use in a dictionary, and it creates a list of tuples, and inside each tuple is the key and the value associated with that key. So to show you that, I'm gonna basically come up here, gonna grab all of this right here, and I'm gonna paste it down here, and I hit enter, and then I'm gonna create a variable called items, and inside items I'm gonna call a dictionary, and then call the function items on it. Okay, go ahead and hit enter, and if I print items, you can see that what we get right here, I believe you can see it, what we get right here is a list, and inside this list are tuples, and each tuple is a key value pair. So we have 3, 3, 2, and 2, and 1, and 1. So as you can see, the dot items function basically gives us a list of tuples, and each tuple is the key value pair of the dictionary. Another useful function that we can use as dictionary is the pop function. So let's say we have a dictionary like before, English to Spanish, and we want to remove an element. We can use the pop function, and we simply pass into the pop function a key that we want to get rid of. So we want to get rid of, let's say for example, tres. So we pass in the key 3 and hit enter, and we pop the key or the value associated with 3. So if we go ahead and we call the function again, you can see, we'll call the dictionary again, you can see that that value is no longer there because we popped it out. So pop is a useful function that we can use to basically remove a item or element from a dictionary, and we use the pop function to basically get rid of that element inside of the dictionary, and we pass into the pop function the key that we want to get rid of, the key value pair that we want to get rid of basically. So just to show you again, I'm gonna get rid of the uno, and to get rid of the uno, the key that's referenced in uno is 1. So we're gonna have to call the English to Spanish dictionary dot pop, and we know that pop, unlike list and tuples take an index, we know that we're working with dictionaries, so we reference them via keys, and the key is 1. And we'll go ahead, we hit enter, and we get rid of it. So if we call the dictionary again, and we hit enter, you see we just get 2 and thus. Another useful function that we can use on dictionary is called the clear function. So English to Spanish dot clear. And what clear basically does is it gets rid of all the elements inside of the dictionary, all of them. So it gets rid of every single thing. So if I call the clear function and I go ahead and I hit enter and I call the dictionary again, you can see we have a empty dictionary, because that's what clear does. It gets rid of all the elements in a dictionary. And that's some useful functions that you can basically use in your dictionaries. There are a lot more. I'm gonna urge you to do a Google search to learn more about these functions that you can use in a dictionary, because there are quite a lot of them. So just to do a recap, in this video we talked about how to basically create a dictionary using the curly brackets. We talked about in dictionaries we reference the values using the key, because we know that dictionaries are a key value pair structure. So if we want a given value, we reference that value via their key. All right. We looked at how we can test for if a given key is in a dictionary or not. We use the in operator to basically do a key lookup in the dictionary, and it tells us true or false whether a given key is in a dictionary using the in operator right here. I showed you a neat little trick. If we wanted to test if a value is in a dictionary, we can use the dot values function and store it in a variable, and then perform the in operator right here using the values. So that's a neat little way to tell if a value is in a given dictionary or not. We looked at how to iterate over a dictionary. So in this example, I showed you how to iterate over the keys of a dictionary. In this case, the keys are the state. In this example, I showed you how to iterate over the values of a dictionary. And in this case, the values are the state capitals. And in the last example, I showed you how to iterate over a key value pair. All right, using all a for loop. And then the last thing that I showed you was some useful methods that a dictionary has that we can always incorporate. So I showed you the dot values method already up here. We talked about the dot items method, talked about the pop method, and we also talked about the clear method. And there are a lot more out there, so I'm going to urge you again to do a Google search to learn more about these methods. All right, and as always, I want to thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more content. And once again, thank you for watching.